that split screen thing, but they don't. So that's why I was trying to do Skype. But anyway, okay, we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my first interview. We're interviewing Blair Clark today. She is a health coach. Let's see. You're creator of the Facebook fitness club Be Fit, and
Yep.
that's the one that you coach people in, right?
Right.
Okay. Yep. Health and wellness, thatbusygirllife.com is your website and blog. You create followers, your philosophy of healing. Hang on, this is to the side. Healthy living, your lifestyle must be convenient, affordable, and effective. And we were talking about the convenience and the affordability.
Yeah.
Simple, healthy recipes. And then you also create your 5 day or 7 day Facebook challenges you've been doing a couple of times. That's what I've been a part of with you. And so you used to be an elementary school teacher, and you said you quit that in 2013.
Mm-hmm. At the end of the school year.
That's crazy. To pursue your dream of becoming an entrepreneur and to have the freedom to follow your passions. Now, you also, so what are the things that you have going on, like generally? Because I know you do network marketing with a company, don't you?
Yeah, I do network marketing for Beachbody, and that is really how I am able to make a living out of what I am doing. So to get into what I did or why I left elementary school, so just the short version of that is I graduated in 2008, which was the worst possible year for you to graduate and try to get a job since the market crashed that year. So I taught elementary school for 5 years after that, but every single year that I taught, I live in Michigan, and I'm not familiar with how things are in school districts elsewhere, in other states, but every single year, school districts in Michigan pretty much just froze salaries, cut salaries, laid people off. So I just found that I was working really, really hard and not making much more money than when I was working at a video store or waiting tables or something like that, going into my career. So I took a big leap of faith, and I really, really wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I wanted to, I'm like, I want to make money helping people online, and I'm going to do it. I have no idea how I'm going to do that. Absolutely no idea. But my husband is awesome, super supportive, really cool, and he was like, go for it, babe. Just do it. We'll be good. He's a teacher too, so he's like, we'll survive for a little while on my teacher salary so you can figure things out. So I started blogging on my blog, thatbusygirllife.com, and taking blogging courses like Feel Good Blogging, like what you are a part of.
Yes.
So learning the ropes through there. And I made another friend through our Feel Good Blogging class who she led me to Beachbody. And so Beachbody was everything that I wanted to do, like all of the finances, all of the marketing, all of the products, all of the training, all of the whatever that I didn't know how to acquire myself. Like that whole thing that Alex Beeden has set up for herself, that whole world she's got going on, like what she has roped us into, that's not fair, roped us into.
I know what you mean, though.
what we are paying Alex Beeden, some money to do this stuff for us. I'm like, how can I do that? How can I make that happen for myself? So I had to actually partner with a company in order to make that happen for myself. So that's the long and short of it. So now I'm a health and fitness coach. I'm going to go back to school to become a nutritionist. So I'm going to flip gears.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
are you going to do like a certification thing, or like
I'm not
like several months or like a certification, or are you going to do like a degree thing?
Not a degree, if I can help it. I'm not going to get, and that was another reason why I left education, is because as an educator, you need to continue your education, which is what you should do. You're an educator. But when your salary versus your debt that it would require to continue your education doesn't match up. So that was another reason why I didn't stay in education, is you have to go back and get more education. Well, I didn't want to invest more in a market that wasn't really investing in its employees. So anyway,
I totally get that, because I was before I started on the artist track, I was going into interior design, and I did the entire program, but at the very last year I had some, like, I was burned out, and I was getting to the point where I was like, the reality was setting in that getting an actual job in interior design wasn't really something that I wanted to do, and thinking all of the things that becoming certified, like interior design has like come a long way, where it's like regulated by the government, and you can't call yourself an interior designer unless you are certified, and to become certified you have to go through this 2 to 3 year long process to get NCIDQ examination, and then you still have to do like CEUs of like continuing education and things. So yeah, I definitely understand that.
Yeah. So yes, I am just now at the point where I'm like, I have been doing this for 7 months now, and I am in love with it and passionate about it. So I'm like, okay, I've given myself more than half a year. I'm going to go for it. So I'm just now like looking into, how do I become a nutritionist? So that I'm figuring out. I'm going to do it in the least expensive way possible. That's my goal.
That's great. I think that's wonderful. So with your new direction now, what I want to know is how you're able to, is the right word, able to make all of this happen, and to still keep your sanity, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like the creative, any if you need like creative outlets for to help you get a break in between, or like, how do you keep yourself motivated?
Sure. What's cool about this is it pretty much is my creative outlet, which is another reason why I know that I want to stick with it, and then that I'm passionate about it. So when I left teaching, my husband's a teacher too, and we went to college together. We both went to preschool. So for me, I went to preschool in 1988, and I went back to school every single fall. Every single school year, I went back to school until the 2013, 2014 school year. So that school year, my husband went back to school. All of my friends who were teachers went back to school. All the little students in my neighborhood went back to school. And for the first time since preschool, I didn't go back to school. And I didn't know what to do. And I got into this depression, and I got into this funk, and I wasn't making any money, and I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't using my brain. I wasn't lesson planning. I wasn't collaborating with colleagues. I wasn't attending meetings. I wasn't doing anything, and I felt really like my value as a person, as a professional, had really, really dropped. But I have always been into cooking and recipe making, and just creating different ways that I can take like our abysmal little budget and stretch it, and continue to have fun, and continue to be healthy, and continue to just like enjoy life. So a few years before I left teaching, I had it in my head that I was going to create a cookbook, because I really like cooking, and my grandma had suggested to me, keep track of your recipes, because she had given me this cookbook that like she put together and spent a bunch of time on, and it had like like she glued in recipe cards from like my great grandmothers and her aunts and things like that. And so she said, keep track of your recipes, honey, because one day you're going to want to pass them down like I'm passing these down to you. So I thought, I'm going to make a cookbook. But nobody reads cookbooks. Everybody goes to recipe websites. Okay, so I'm going to make a recipe website. So I started taking pictures and documenting all of my recipes, building this website. I loved it. That's how I got into doing stuff online and like posting on social media anyway, was trying to like build, I guess, a following to go to my recipe website, except building a website to that extent. Like if you think about like food.com or allrecipes.com or whatever, that's like what I had in my brain, that I was going to be that someday.
Yeah.
It's incredibly time consuming and expensive and hard. It was fun, but it was hard. So
was this part of, was this before you started the Busy Girl Life?
oh yeah, this was like the impetus of it all. Yeah. So I'm struggling trying to build this website because I've got website in my brain, like it needs to be a website. And my sister-in-law, who she's funny. We're really different, but she's really into fashion blogs. And I had never even looked at anybody's blogs because I thought blogs were like where you posted silly pictures of cats or you read about celebrity, you know, gossip. And I'm like, and then also I was like, who gives, you know, who cares about what somebody is blogging about? Like, who cares? I don't care about. So my sister-in-law is like, just take all your recipes and just make it a blog. Just make it like a daily or weekly blog, and you know, blog one recipe a week and start with that. And so I'm like, all right, I'll give it a try. So I started a blog, and I started doing random stuff, like the random DIY craft I made at Christmas, like a wreath for my door, or you know, random blueberry blogging stuff. And I came up with that Busy Girl Life, just kind of like joking around with a friend, like, what could I hashtag? And he was like, well, people are always hashtagging like that office life, that stupid something life. You know what I mean? So and it turned out that I really, really enjoyed blogging, and that became like what saved my mind during that time of, okay, I'm not teaching. I'm not going back to teaching. I have to accept the fact that I'm not going to go back to teaching, and I'm not I'm not a professional right now. What am I going to do? So that was my outlet, this blogging thing. I was blogging for like nobody, like my mom, and then my sister-in-law. You know, they were reading my blog. I was forcing my husband to read my blog, like emailing them to my friends, like, read my blog.
Yeah. That's really interesting though, because you mentioned so after your school, you didn't go back. You had kind of fell into this depression, you said, and I don't know if I've recently, I made a video of my experience with depression and how after the interior design thing blew up for me, I definitely fell into like a 2-year funk where I just, like you said, like my body kind of started deteriorating. I didn't feel good about myself. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know how I was going to bring myself out of it. And it was just like, it's like this cycle, this never ending cycle that you just keep going deeper, you know, and unless you have an outlet to do it. And I think it's great that you started that blog, because you I think one of the main things into bringing someone out of a depression or out of like this stressful place is to reach outside of yourself and to have something to take and get it blog. That's like a perfect way to do it.
Yeah, and I never would have dreamed that I would have been a blogger. I would have thought that that was silly just a few years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really been a creative outlet for me. So it's really just kind of like morphed over time. And the reason, and it kind of dawned on me one day, people are making money blogging. I have no idea how they're doing it, but people are doing it. So after leaving teaching, I thought, well, I'm going to go into some other field. What was in my mind was, unfortunately, the education, if you look at it just like as a market, it's not a very lucrative market right now, which is a terrible way to have to view the next generation's education as the market, you know, as a financial decision, but that's what I had to view it as. So I thought, what market can I go into that's doing really well? And so I thought, well, marketing is doing really well. That's a good market. So I looked into several marketing jobs. I applied with different companies, from like the most pitiful little part-time job to jobs that I was not qualified for at all. But I just started interviewing for marketing jobs for companies. But this again would have been like, you know, the 9-to-5 desk job type of thing.
Yeah.
So somewhere, blogging is just this thing that I did so that I didn't lose my mind every day being bored. And then marketing, which I thought, well, I still need to earn an income. They just kind of blended, and I had this like epiphany of, I can do both, and I can do them online, and I can do them from home, and I can do them on my own, you know, my own schedule, my own pace. So I started going to the library like a mad woman and just reading books from people who have done this. And I'm like, if they did it, I can do it. But they never tell you how they did it. They're just like, oh, you can too. I want to encourage you to do it, and you can totally make this happen. Dream big, dream big. Well, how? They leave that part out.
Yeah, I definitely still struggle. I've been like 24/7 like researching, going to all these like webinars of trying to get how all these different people they claim to make so much money doing this, and I know that they're really successful, but it's like, but how? I haven't seen that. So, but I definitely feel like it's been about a year and a half or 2 years since I've been working on it full time. I'm just starting to realize, you know, how to do it, but yes.
I know. And one of the first videos I watched from Alex Beeden, where she talked about, you know, how she's a successful online blog entrepreneur, she mentioned it took her over 4 years.
Yeah.
Of just working at it before anybody really took her seriously. And so we'll get there. I guess we're like halfway there then, if we're at the
we're almost there.
Yeah. Just keep on.
I know, we just got to keep on going.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to know was, since you are a health coach, and from a health standpoint, I wanted your point of view on what types of effects in the body do you think does this stressful situations in life or depression situations, how does it affect our bodies, and then how can we use healthy eating, fitness to release us from that and to heal, I guess you can say.
Okay. Well, from my own personal experience, I know what it did was it messed with my mindset. So I guess just personally for me, going into that depression, and you know, it's weird because it's not a clinical depression. So it was something that I didn't understand while I was going through it, and it's something that like later I looked back on and I was like, oh, I was depressed. Like that's what that was, you know, when I was like, I don't understand my feelings and my emotions, and I'm crying and I'm eating a lot, and it's all comfort food to try to, you know, and you hear about people doing this, and you're like, well, if you know you're depressed, then just recognize it and don't do those things. But you don't really recognize while you're depressed that you're depressed, and you're just, I don't know, it's like this innate desire to comfort yourself. So you reach for something that comforts yourself. So thank God my comfort isn't drugs or alcohol, but it was heavy foods and, you know, just a bunch of garbage. And then also like lethargy, and I didn't really want to do anything. So I think from the health and fitness perspective, is if you are in that kind of situation, you need to surround yourself with people who are not that same way. I don't mean that they don't have those same tendencies or that they couldn't ever be that way, but if you are going through a depression, don't surround yourself with people who are currently depressed themselves at the same time, because if you're just all depressed together, then you're just going to continue and maintain So fortunately for me, my husband is super upbeat. He's one of the most positive people that I know. And he is also really into health and fitness also. He's a gymnastics coach. He was a college cheerleader. He was like a high school state qualifying wrestler. Like he is fit. The guy will go run 10 miles just because he wants to kind of person. So he's very, very positive. So he was constantly uplifting me, constantly like, asking me to go run with him, asking me to go train with him. So he has done different obstacle course races like in the past where I've been like, that looks like fun, baby. Enjoy yourself, go get dirty, run your obstacle course race. He really wanted to do one last summer. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna do it with you. So this was long before I stumbled on Feel Good blogging or anything like that, or Beachbody. In the spring, he said, well, if we're going to do this obstacle course in the summer, we need to start training for it a couple of months in advance so that you, meaning me, don't die during it. So we started running through our...
And I've seen videos of this, and that, is that the mud run? Is that the same thing?
Yeah.
That looks really intense.
Obviously, being, like at the time, 38 weeks pregnant, couldn't do it this year. But so I had this thing that I was working towards, this physical, goal. Like we're doing this with a group of friends. I don't want to die in the middle of it or have them think like, wow, she's in really poor shape. So this is before becoming a health and fitness coach. And I found so much like joy in it and adrenaline and like good hormones pumping through my body. Just it really cleared my mind. I discovered that running makes me happy. Flinging myself in the mud with a bunch of adults, is so much fun. But anyway, so we started working on that spring of 2014, and that really was another like thing that helped pull me up out of this, was getting physically fit again. Like fortunately I didn't let myself go to where I gained like 50, 60 pounds or something like that, but I gained probably 20 during the depression. And once I started being physically active, and could pair it with, because we were still eating pretty well, because he wasn't going to give in like how I was to the unhealthy eating. So I was still cooking like healthy meals for him too. And then like, just cheating and indulging on the side while he was teaching and I was home by myself. It all just kind of like came together, and I rediscovered, like I had been involved in sports my whole life until I graduated high school. And then in college, just realistically, there wasn't time to play sports. You're going to class and you're studying. And so yeah, I just really rediscovered this like love for just being healthy, and it made me feel so much better just doing it, and I didn't want to let go of it. So I just continued to pursue it.
That's really good. I think an important point that you said that I definitely feel, and I think a lot of people do, is that you don't realize that that you're in a depression. Like you don't recognize, oh, I'm going to name this, oh, this is what depression is. You don't realize what it is unless you felt it before. Maybe you can like recognize it then, but a lot of people don't recognize it's happening to them when it's happening to them. And I think that surrounding yourself with other people who at least have the potential to bring you out of it naturally or to support you is a very important point.
Right.
So that's the end of our time. Thank you so much, Blair, for letting me interview you. And yeah, I'm not sure how to end this. This is my first one. But yes, so I'll definitely direct everyone to check out Blair's blog, thatbusygirllife.com. And to follow her on Facebook, do you have a other preferred social media other than the Facebook?
Pretty much I am that busy girl all over the internet. So if you go to Twitter, you go to Instagram, you will find me as that busy girl. But I do the most on my Facebook like page. So go to that busy girl life, find my Facebook like page, and like it.
All right. Sounds good. And I'm looking forward to all of the good things you're going through. Being a certified nutritionist, do you have like a set date of when you're going to start doing that?
Well, I am due any day now for the baby.
Yeah.
So after that, we're gonna look into it. I'm assuming
That's right. You're like,
right. Everything really starts like in the fall, the winter, the spring, the fall, the winter, the spring. So I'm like, all right, I probably have the rest of the summer to coast. And then by the time the fall comes around, hopefully I will have figured out how to be a mom, and then I can pursue something else.
yeah. Yes, it definitely takes up a lot of time. All right, Blair, I will talk to you later. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Bye.
Bye.
And end.